नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So I'll recite two more verses, which is not in the book, but those who know can join. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश धारिणे. Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is our second session of our Bhagavad Gita. So I'll quickly review the session that we discussed, the topics that we discussed last time, and we are just in the initial session, chapter. So last time we started off with how Bhagavad Gita actually starts off with the first shloka says what? Dhritarashtra Uvacha. And the first shloka is the only shloka that Dhritarashtra speaks in the entire Bhagavad Gita. And the reason why Bhagavad Gita has been started with Dhritarashtra speaking, and the main conversation is Krishna and Arjun, they could have just skipped that and come to the main conversation. But the reason they actually start with Dhritarashtra is the point to actually say Dhritarashtra is hearing the entire Bhagavad Gita. Arjun is hearing the entire Bhagavad Gita. But at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra, there is no transformation, but Arjun, his life is transformed. So just the first verse itself reveals that there is a way in which we approach Bhagavad Gita. We have to approach Bhagavad Gita like Arjun, right? And we discussed this last time. So if you see Dhritarashtra's character, he had this like deep emotional attachments of becoming the king. And then he wanted his son Duryodhan to become the king. And he was so externally attached to these that his internal vision was actually covered. Prabhupada makes a point that not only he was blind externally, but also internally, his eyes were closed. He was blind. Why? Because of so much external attachment that he could not think of anything beyond all this. All he was concerned, and the first verse actually said, Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, Samaveta Yutsa, Mamaka Pandavasya, Kim Akurvat Sanjay. And the only thing he was concerned, will my sons win? Right? Mamakaha, right? My sons. Pandavas Chaiva. Other side is Pandava. So he's already making a difference. My sons and sons of Pandavas. Pandu, right? Pandava. So actually, the way Dhritarashtra, the circumstance, the story of Mahabharata goes, actually Dhritarashtra should have seen his sons and the sons of Pandu with an equal vision. Because they actually, when they were boys, the Pandavas were boys, young boys, they actually came to the kingdom to actually be under the shelter. But he had that, that attachment, that deep attachment. And because of that, because the attachment was so strong, in spite of hearing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, he could not actually digest that knowledge. So our approach of reading Bhagavad Gita is we want to approach Bhagavad Gita like Arjun. That means we should look for a transformation in life. We should look for, yes, I want to improve in my life. I want to understand what is my purpose of life. There are so many challenges, anxieties that come to me every day. But what is beyond all this? Where am I really going with my life? We should ask these kind of questions. And the entire Bhagavad Gita is given in such a nice way that if you are going through the Bhagavad Gita, you are actually going through the journey of Arjun. Like how Arjun is actually going through the entire Bhagavad Gita, you can actually follow his journey as you go through the Bhagavad Gita. And what is the end of Bhagavad Gita? I like the shloka a lot, so I quote it often. Arjun says, Nashta moha smriti labdha. He said, now my moha, my illusion is all nasht, is this destroyed, right? Smriti labdha. Now I know what is the best thing for me. Now I know what I should do in my life. I know my purpose of life. I know my goal of life. I know how to execute it. So if you follow the journey of Arjun, then at the end of Bhagavad Gita, we can have that same confidence. So that was our first theme we discussed last time, how we should approach Bhagavad Gita. And that's why Bhagavad Gita starts with Dhritarashtra, to point out the difference between Dhritarashtra hearing Bhagavad Gita and Arjun, and how we should hear like Arjun. We should take the journey of Arjun. Right? And the next time, and after we discuss the verses also, like this is first chapter is mainly talking about the battlefield, how Duryodhan, he actually goes to Dronacharya and he says like, oh, see who all are assembled here. And he particularly points out your disciple, Drishta, he has actually arranged the armies on the other side. So making the point that Dronacharya, you're very liberal as a Brahmana, but now no, don't be liberal anymore. Now you fight. Because everyone knew Dronacharya and Bhishma, they had special affection for the Pandavas. So Duryodhan wanted to make the point, now no longer affection, now you shall have to fight. Right? So he goes and we discuss the next few verses talks about that. And Duryodhan says, oh, our side is so powerful. We have who? Bhishma Pitama. Other side is not so powerful. Who they have? Bhima. Bhishma and Bhima. Right? So he said, like, he makes all this comparison. And then we read the next few verses, actually talks of when Duryodhan approaches Bhishma Pitama to actually speak. But before he even speaks, because Bhishma knows Duryodhan's mind, his diplomacy. So before even Duryodhan could speak, what did Bhishma do? He blew his conch shell loudly. Right? And then Bhishma, the start of a battlefield is by blowing the conch shell. Right? So Bhishma blew his conch shell, and then Bhishma blew his conch shell. Then others also. So there's a whole description of how Krishna blew his conch shell, Devadatta. Panchajanya, Arjun blew his conch shell known as Devadatta. Then Yudhishthir, and then all different personalities blew their conch shell. So next few verses just talks about everyone blowing their conch shell. But then it clearly says, text number 16 in Bhagavad Gita, it actually makes the point. But when all these Pandavas, they blew their conch shell, it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So blowing conch shell was on both sides. But when the Pandavas blew the conch shell, it said it destroyed it shattered the hearts of the side of Kauravas. Yeah. So that, all these signs, if you see, it actually tells us that the victory was already assured on the side of the Pandavas. So we are taking Arjun's journey. So put yourself right there in the battlefield, right? On that side, it's a much bigger army. They have like 11 units, 11 Akshainis of army. We have 7. So it's like 11 to 7 ratio, right? Put yourself there, right? And then on the other side, you have Bhishma Pitama, who has the blessing that Ichha Mrityu. Imagine a personality who says, like, I can choose when I can die. Then who can defeat him, right? You have such personality like Bhishma and Drona. And Arjun is right there. But Arjun is seeing there are already signs for victory. Right? And in spite of seeing those signs of victory, we read up to text 19, we'll continue up to that point. In spite of seeing the signs of victory, Arjun actually, before the start of the battlefield, what does he do? He actually makes a kind of request which seems like, why is he making this request at this time? Right? So we'll read that today. Okay. So, is it okay till here? Yes. Any questions? Okay. So we'll start with text number 20. We just read till 19 last time. And, try to follow this theme that we are going through Arjun's journey, right? So in 19, actually, it says, where it actually says, Sa Ghosho Dhritarashtranam. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra, right? Okay, so then, text 20. So I'll read the Sanskrit. You can repeat after me. It's page number 43 in your Bhagavad Gita. 43, yeah. Okay, so please repeat. अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धातराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वज प्रवृत्ते शास्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम् idam aha mahipate. So someone can read the translation, maybe the loud voice, please. At that time, Arjun, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjun then spoke to the Lord Krishna these words. Okay. So why is it clearly pointed out at that time Arjun, as son of Pandu, he actually had the flag. Who was sitting on the flag? Hanumanji, right? So you know the story, right? There's this entire encounter between Bhima and Hanuman, right? It's actually when the Pandavas were in Vanvas, right? So once Bhim was actually going to a higher planetary system, and he saw Hanuman sitting there with his long tail, and he actually came and he tried to move the tail because it's not good etiquette to jump over. And the monkey was just like, I'm not going to move my tail. Then he said, like, okay, if you're so adamant, you move it. And then Bhim was such powerful. He said he has a strength of 10,000 elephants. Can you imagine 10,000 elephants? One elephant stands in front of you. You have nothing to do in front of him, right? Like we were recently in Mayapur, in near Calcutta, we have Mayapur. So I was just there December 1st week. So there they have they do elephant processions. So they have elephants. So we were very close. And if you touch the skin of an elephant, so hard. It's like a wall. And imagine the strength of 10,000 elephants. So one elephant, and then you have, let's say, 10,000 elephants in a line. And Bhima, he has the strength that one he hits on the side, that the 10,000 elephants will fall down. That was the power that Bhima had. But when he saw Hanuman's tail, he couldn't even lift it up. Right? Then he realized this is someone special. Who is this personality? And then at that time, Hanuman promised that, when this war happens, I will be on your side. I will not fight, but I will be on your flag. And I will roar in such a way that just by my roar, the other side will actually be fearful. So Hanuman was on the flag roaring. So here it actually talks of Hanuman. And why does Prabhupada in the purport, he explains this point. So Hanumanji is there, and then Krishna is non-different than Lord Ramchandra. So one way you have Hanuman and Ram. So wherever Hanuman is there, wherever Ram is there, any Raman-like people will be certainly destroyed. So that was another sign of victory. Wherever Hanuman is there, wherever Lord Ramchandra is there, where is the question of defeat? For sure, victory is guaranteed. And then now we are just, everyone is conscious of the Ram temple opening in Ayodhya. It's like such a big historical thing. So it's nice to talk about Lord Ramchandra, right? So that was another sign that yes, Hanuman is there, Lord Ramchandra is there. Where is the question of defeat? We will certainly win, right? But here it says, then Arjun spoke to Krishna these words. So let's see what Arjun says. So this is the first words that Arjun speaks, text 21. Arjuna vacha senayor ubayor madhye ratham stapaya mechuta yavat etan niriksheham yodho kaman avastitan kairmaya saha yodhavyam Asmin Rana Samudhyame. Go ahead. Anyone would like to read translation?
Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of ours.
So it's interesting that the conch is already blown and now means the war is going to start. So now you just have to prepare your arrows and shoot. But all of a sudden, Arjuna is making this request. And what does he say? Sena yor ubayor madhye. Take me in between the two armies, right? Because I want to see who is actually assembled here to fight. Not that Arjun did not know. He knew it, but he wanted to see again. And next verse will actually make the point that, these people are all on the other side. They are assembled to actually take the side of Duryodhana. He just want to again revisit the whole art assembled. So, Yotyamanam avaksheham ya etetra samagataha Gatarashtra Sorry, I will do it again. Dhritarashtrasya durbuddher
Dhritarashtrasya durbudhe
yuddhe priya chikirsavah.
yudhe priyachirshavaha.
Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra.
Right? He's just saying, okay, Krishna, take my chariot in between the two armies. I want to see who has come here to please whom? The evil side. So even if you see the Sanskrit, it says Durbuddhe. Buddhi means intelligence. Durbuddhe means like evil intelligence. Right? So with that evil-minded Duryodhan, who has come to actually take his side and fight for me. I want to see those people. Right? Sanjay Uvacha.
Sanjay Uvacha
Evam Mukto Rishikesho
evam ukto rishikesho
Gudakeshena Bharata
Gudakeshena bharata
Senayor Ubayor Madhye
senayor upayor
Stapayitvam Rathottamam.
sthapayitam gathotamam.
Sanjay said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drove the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties.
Okay. We'll do one more and make a point. Bhishma Drona Pramuktaha
Bhishma Drona Pramuktaha
Sarvesham cha Mahishitam
Sarvesham cha Mahishitam
Vacha Partha Pashyaitan
Vajapantapasyetam
Samavetan Kurun iti.
Samavetam kuruniti.
In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, "Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here."
Okay, so two very nice points here. Now we see what is the first entry of Krishna. We just read, just like this is the first time we're reading of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And what is Krishna actually doing? He's the chariot driver. And here, how does it start? And Arjuna is giving instructions to Krishna. Krishna, please take my chariot in between the two armies. I want to see who's assembled here. So actually our acharyas, they actually bring up this very beautiful point that Krishna, who later on in Bhagavad Gita is established as the supreme personality of Godhead, the supreme God, will come later to that section. But that personality is actually taking the role of a chariot driver for his friend Arjun. Actually, if you see during that time, what occupation a person is actually engaged in, that tells a lot about what is his value, his prestige. So to take the position of a sarthi, like a chariot driver, is actually a very low position. And we see Krishna, the supreme God, is actually taking that very low position and taking orders from his own devotee. So what does this tell us about Krishna? And Prabhupada explains in the point how Krishna, though he is infallible, like particularly the word, that Sanskrit word that's used is Achyuta. Achyuta means what? One who can never fall. Like we are fallible jivas. Right? We make mistakes, we get illusion, our senses, like we see something and like it looks like something else, right? We see mirages, it looks like water, but there's no water there. Our senses get mistaken, we have a tendency to cheat, right? Or we are fallible. But immediately Lord Krishna is actually distinguished as Achyuta, infallible. So he's infallible and he doesn't take any, it doesn't matter that taking the role of a chariot driver. Taking the role of a chariot driver does not diminish the value, the position of Krishna. Right? That is the first thing. And the second thing is that Krishna is actually taking instructions. Why would let's say there's a very senior person, right? Maybe senior in terms of opulence or senior in terms of relationship. And if that person is taking instruction from someone who's very junior, under what circumstance would that happen? Anyone wants to share any thoughts on that? Under what circumstance would someone who is junior, right, or someone who's senior, take instruction from someone who's junior?
When the person who is taking instruction thinks that, okay, what is kind of obvious is not really obvious to the world. So to kind of go with the flow. I mean, that's,
Okay.
that's very material. That's what I can think of.
Okay.
It reminds
Any
me of
good
servant
point?
leadership. Also.
What?
It reminds me of servant leadership that we talked
Servant
about.
leadership?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a leader, but he doesn't mind serving.
He doesn't mind serving. Okay, very nice. So Krishna is taking pleasure in service. Okay. You had some point?
Air Force One, a pilot giving instruction to president, like, tie up a secret.
Okay.
So president also takes, like
Okay.
on pilot.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else behind? Any thoughts? So one is, the point is that of seva. Even Krishna. Okay. So first point is when does this happen? That a senior is willing to take instructions from the junior, provided there is a relationship. There is some kind of love. Like, son may say something and father will like, okay, let's do it. Because there's a relationship. So that already indicates that between Arjuna and Krishna, there is a such special relationship. And that is revealed later on in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? That's the first point. And the second point, Krishna himself, though he is the supreme person, he's supreme God, he takes pleasure in offering service. And as we proceed in Bhagavad Gita, we see these points that the joy of seva, the happiness that we are all looking from this material world, we look in so many different things, but that happiness is there in service. Okay. And we'll talk of what kind of service, but we already get hints of like how Bhagavad Gita is proceeding. What are we seeing from the Bhagavad Gita? Right? Okay. And then the next verse we read in 25, in the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Why is it mentioned Bhishma, Drona?
They're more serious and more powerful.
Okay, more senior, more powerful. But it also said that Krishna, actually Krishna is so expert, he knows everything, right? He took Arjun's chariot right in front of Bhishma and Drona. Why? Because Arjun has most attachment for Bhishma and Drona, and this entire Bhagavad Gita is actually Krishna's plan. The Arjun actually gets, now he's thinking like, how can I shoot Bhishma and Drona? They are actually my worshipful teachers. I have to offer obeisance to them. I have to worship them. Now you are expecting me to shoot arrows at them? So Krishna one way wanted to bring out these doubts in Arjuna. And hence he particularly took the chariot right in front of Bhishma and Drona. So that Arjun's, that mood, his doubts actually arise. And Krishna's whole plan is that this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita be spoken, not only for Arjun's benefit, but for benefit of all the generations to come, and for the benefit of each one of us. Right? Okay, let's see. Tatra pashyasti tan partha pitrin atha pitamahan acharyan matulan bhratrin putran pautran sakhim tatha swashuran suridaschaiva senayor ubayor api. Okay, go ahead.
There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers.
Right, so many. He saw like other side were all his own relatives, fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, all his own relatives are there on the other side. Further, we can read the next translation also. Sir, go ahead. Maybe someone from behind. Yeah, go ahead.
When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
Okay, so now we are going to start. Arjun, what seeing all this, what comes in his mind? Right? So what are the main points, like thinking further in the Bhagavad Gita? What is Arjun going to tell to Krishna now?
Like,
He's going to give up. Okay, why?
because seeing your own relatives right in front of you, how can you?
How can you fight, right? How can you fight? So one reason he gives like Bhishma and Drona, they're worthy of my worship. You expect me to shoot arrows at them? That's not possible. Okay, what else would you think? Like we are going Arjun's journey. So put yourself in that position. You're seeing all these people. What else points comes to your mind? So that's a nice point then.
Worth it, like for land, if you want to fight, is it worth it to fight against our relatives?
Very nice point. So actually the first point Arjun is thinking, the last time we discussed, how many people are on the battlefield of Kurukshetra?
640 million.
640 million people. That's like twice the population of entire US, is right there on the battlefield. And Arjun is thinking, is this really worth it? Like so many people, if this war happens, how many thousands of people will be killed? Millions of people are going to be killed. Is this really worth it? And the first feeling Arjun was feeling is that mood of compassion. He's feeling compassionate that all these people are going to be killed. For what? For us to become the kings? For Yudhishthira Maharaj to become the king? Is it really worth it? And is this reason valid? Is this reason valid? In Arjun's position, not going further, but just right there, you're in Arjun's position. 640 billion people are going to be killed because of you.
Arjun's place, yes.
Yes. It's valid. So actually, there are like 5 different reasons Arjun gives why he says, I don't want to fight. And if you see each one of the reasons, it's like so, like really thoughtful reasons. And like, yes, this is so right. And by the end of the first chapter, if you're going through Arjun's journey, you'll be convinced, okay, no battle. It should not be fought, right? And now we have to see the beauty. Second chapter, we'll see the beauty. How Krishna has to defeat these arguments, which we think are really good. Okay, so compassion, we talked about, so many people getting killed. Second, how can you kill Bhishma, Drona? How can I shoot arrows? Anything else can you think of?
I can think of fear as well, because it's Bhishma and Drona in front of you at the same time.
Okay, so
fear. Said Bhishma has this wound.
Yeah.
I can die only whenever I want.
Yeah.
After that time, he can continue.
So Arjun, fear. Did he have fear in his heart? At least in Bhagavad Gita, it does not reveal so much. And the reason is because at this point, there are already signs of victory. There are already signs of victory. It's like Arjun is like, yeah, Krishna is right here. Hanumanji is there, right? And then also like, a few other points. Okay, we'll win, but is this really worth it?
And it's more of anxiety than fear, right?
See, one point is compassion. One point is how can I shoot Bhishma and Drona?
What is going to get out of that ultimately?
Okay. So so even if I win, right? What is what will I gain? Like, will I gain happiness? Is that happiness really worth it? Right? So these are really good. And the reason I'm asking you these questions, because last time we made the point that Arjun, like imagine if you see the Mahabharata, how much abuse Pandavas had to go through, right? Throughout, from starting, from like first was like Bhima was poisoned, right? Bhima was poisoned. And then after there was this House of Black. And throughout, if you see, gambling match, and then finally like Draupadi being destroyed, again and again and again, the Pandavas had to go through so much. And finally, you would think that, okay, now Arjun is right there, he should just fight. Like imagine if you've gone through so much, waiting for that moment that, okay, I want justice, you would go right and just start fighting. But Arjun does not do that. And we talked about this key point, that before getting into, a situation, right? Can we actually pause? Can we introspect? Can we reflect? And can we ask questions? And this is the difference between Arjun and Dhritarashtra. Arjun was willing to pause and say, okay, I need to analyze, is this really good? And think about this practically in your life. Like we go through so many situations and we say, okay, this is a solution. It's difficult, but I'll still do it. But how many times do we pause and say, like, okay, I'm going through this difficult journey, but after the end of it, whatever I experience, whatever result I'm getting, is that really what I want? Is that really what I want? Yeah.
So usually when we are in that situation, that's not when we think about it. It's always
After,
we
yes.
realize and
Yes.
retrospect and we that we should have done.
Sure.
But when we are in that midst of situation, how do you pause?
Yeah.
That was the question I
Yes, that's a very nice question. When a situation comes, our tendency is immediately to react, right? Right. So we don't, at that time, we don't think. It's only afterwards we think, oh, I should have not said this. I should have not done this. That actually requires spiritual training. And spiritual training means, at least for us, actually every day taking time. When we are like we did mantra meditation, if you take time every day, what are you doing? You're first of all training your mind not to react. Because then the mind is becoming more peaceful. So when the situation comes, the mind can actually take time and not immediately just speak up. Second thing we are doing is we are strengthening our intelligence by reading Bhagavad Gita. So we'll come to this later on also, but just to answer your question, actually, if you see our entire self, right, we have the senses, right, eyes, ears, nose, etc. About the senses is the mind. About the mind is supposed to be the intelligence. And about the intelligence is our Atma, our spiritual self, right? So senses, then mind,
Intelligence. So
Atma. But if you see any situation, is this the sequence that works? So the senses and then mind, that's it. Does the intelligence even come into play? So rarely, right? So when will the intelligence actually come into play? You have to strengthen the intelligence. So in the third chapter, the last verse, Krishna actually makes this point. He talks, your intelligence will come into play when it is strengthened by wisdom, the spiritual wisdom that Krishna is giving. So I'll come to it. So these two things, right? First is you have to make the mind peaceful and you have to strengthen the intelligence. And when these two are done, then when a situation comes, your intelligence is strong, and then the intelligence will say to the mind, okay, just hold on. Let me pause. Let me think about it. Then I'll respond. So it is not something that you can get overnight. It is a matter of spiritual training. And that's why our Shastras actually say, Kaumara Acharit Pragya. The sooner you start the training, the better. So that's why I said for children, even 5 years old, they should start getting this training. Get them Bhagavad Gita knowledge, get them this meditation. Because at the initial age, if they are trained, then they'll be empowered. Any situation comes, they know. Intelligence is strong. I know what is the best way to act. But if you're not giving the training and it's not outside, no schools actually teach you this training. That's why it's so important to have this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Right? So, you have a question?
No, we can't. We are so pensive out there.
Oh, really?
Sometimes when you say
And the next time maybe I'll get a bigger amplifier. So we can have one behind. I'll get one next time. Okay. Okay. So all the way back, it's okay. I'll speak a little louder. Okay. Okay. So yeah.
To your question, what else Arjun may be thinking?
Yes.
One more thing I think I'm thinking about myself there. Something about he thought about compassionate and then families there. Would he have maybe he going to revisit the fact that, okay, if I have another chance, I'll not do this. And without this fight, it can still be resolved. He want to maybe review that option, then don't fight and then save all the lives and don't kill anyone there.
So to that point, did Arjun actually have a choice that, okay, maybe let's see some other way of resolving this issue? Actually, if you see, Pandavas have already tried all ways, and because none of the ways failed, war was the last resort. So Prabhupada explains in this purport, he says actually Pandavas, they wanted to avoid this mass destruction. And finally, when Krishna went as the peace messenger, right? Krishna himself went as a peace messenger, right? And at the time, that famous incident with Vidura and Duryodhana, all those things are there. But he went, and what does he say?
One need, like land, five,
At least
kind of a
give
village.
5 villages to the Pandavas.
Oh yeah, five villages, and he said like I will not even give a needle bit of
Enough land to actually put a needle in, right? So actually the point is, Pandavas, they tried their best. They sent Krishna himself as a peace messenger. And they were willing to be satisfied with just 5 villages. And why did they ask 5 villages? Because they are Kshatriyas. By nature of Kshatriya, they need. The nature is to rule. So at least something they need. The bare minimum, 5 villages. Give us that, we'll be satisfied. Right? But Duryodhana, see his greed. Not enough land to actually put a pin inside or a needle. So he was not willing. So all those options were exhausted, and hence it came to the point of battle. And so Arjun wasn't thinking any other alternative is there. But he actually, in this further, he actually gives a different alternative where he says, there's a situation now, I'll just run away from the situation. Do we do this sometimes? We face a situation, we don't want to deal with everything. We say, I'll just run away, I'll escape. Arjun wanted to do it. But Krishna says, no, escape is not a solution. When you face a problem, you have to deal with it. Right? When you're faced with a problem, you have to deal with it. Right? Okay, so I want to end with one particular theme, which is text 32, 35. Okay, so let's just continue reading the English. I think you've talked a few points. So 28, please go ahead. Someone from behind would like to read? Go ahead. You like to read?
I'm not really-
No, okay. So behind anyone? Okay, go ahead.
29.
28. Oh, did we do 27? Oh, no, we didn't.
Yeah, but
We did. Okay. Yeah, we did. Compassion. Okay. 28.
Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, see my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit. I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up.
So now we'll see how Arjun is having an emotional breakdown. And can we relate to this? The whole thing of Bhagavad Gita is to relate the journey that Arjun is going through. Even we may have such situations where we just have like an emotional breakdown. Whether there's loss of dear ones, or it's just like maybe just situation at work or family or something or the other. And you feel like emotionally that nothing is working out. My mouth is drying up. I feel my limbs of my body are quivering. I find no hope, right? Okay, let's see next one. 29.
My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Govinda is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning.
Right. So my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand. Actually this Gandiva, it's a very, very powerful bow. It is actually said it's coming from Brahmaji himself, and there were like different, it's gone through different personalities, and finally Agni Dev gave to Arjun, right? And Arjun had the secret vow that if anyone asks me to give my Gandiva away to someone else, I will kill that person. And so, one story is always nice. In Mahabharata, during the war, once there was a fight between Karna and Yudhishthira. Right? And Karna actually, he hurt Yudhishthira Maharaj, like he was almost like winning, So Yudhishthira Maharaj was really hurt. And then because he was hurt so much, he was actually taken off the field to the camp. He was really injured badly. And then when Arjun heard that Yudhishthira is hurt so bad, what did Arjun do? He told Krishna, let's go to the camp. I want to see how Yudhishthira is doing. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was already feeling humiliated, because for a Kshatriya to leave a field is actually a sign of humiliation. So Yudhishthira was already feeling, oh, so bad that I got defeated by, one way defeated by Karna. And then he was just thinking, oh, no, Arjun is there. He will take revenge. Arjun is there. He'll take revenge. That was going on in Yudhishthira's mind. Though he was badly injured, he was thinking, Arjun is there. He'll take revenge. And then Arjun actually came to see how Yudhishthira is. So Arjun entered along with Krishna. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking, Arjun has come. That means he has defeated Karna. And now he's come here. And he started glorifying Arjun. Arjun, you are, so great. You could defeat Karna. You're so, powerful. And he started glorifying. And then Arjun said, no, 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 no. I did not defeat Karna. I just came to see how you're doing. And then when Yudhishthir heard that, he was like, you're supposed to go and fight. What are you doing here? And he actually said words to insult his Gandiva. He told Arjun that, you're like, why are you here? So Yudhishthir spoke some words to actually say, this Gandiva is so powerful. And instead of fighting, you have come here. Better you give your Gandiva to someone else. And as soon as Arjun heard that, Kshatriya spirit, they have the Kshatriya spirit. What do? Ready to kill Yudhishthir. That is the Kshatriya spirit, their blood is like. And that time he says, I've taken the secret vow. If anyone asks me to give my Gandiva to someone else, I'll kill that person. And then Krishna was there, you're going to kill Yudhishthir? What's wrong with you? And then he told the story, actually. It's all that in Mahabharata. He told the story. Krishna says, once a Brahmana took a vow that I'll never speak lies. And then some innocent people, they came running to his ashram. And they said, like, there are some thieves behind us. They're ready to like steal us, and And so he said, and then they just went and hid somewhere. And the thieves came right behind, and they saw a sadhu. He said, like, sadhu, what is that? So he said, they asked the sadhu, the same person, where did you see some people running? And because the sadhu took a vow and never speak lies, he said, yeah, right there. And then later on, the sadhu got the sinful reaction for speaking the truth at that time, right? And Krishna told this story and said, like, you took a vow, but you have to be aware of the circumstance. Are you going to kill Yudhishthir? Your entire life is to actually make Yudhishthir the emperor. And now you're going to kill Yudhishthir? But Arjun, like, yeah, you're right. I have to think about the circumstance. But I have taken this vow. What should I do? Then Krishna says, well, there are other ways of killing. And in Shastra, there are other ways of killing. And he actually told Arjun, one way of killing is when a junior person speaks ill of a senior, that is as good as death. If someone is insulted, in Kshatriya, they make that point. So Arjun got the hint and he started speaking. Oh, Yudhishthir, he started insulting Yudhishthir. And in that way, he fulfilled his vow. But he basically said that, why gambling match? You gave Draupadi? What kind of king you are, Dharmaraj? And then afterwards, he fell at the feet of Yudhishthir and said, sorry, no. Well, anyway, that was a side story. But the main point, Arjun said, if anyone asks me to give up my Gandiva vow, I will kill that person. And now see how Arjun is feeling that emotional breakdown. Why does he say my Gandiva? To actually show that that same person who took a vow that I will never give up my Gandiva is now not even able to hold his Gandiva. That is extent of emotional breakdown. Okay, let's continue. Text 30. Let's see the time.
I'm not able to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself, and my mind is sick. Breathing. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of love, is me there.
Okay, I see only causes of misfortune. Okay, further. All right, 31.
I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
So what is Arjun saying? That I only see causes of misfortune. If this war is fought, it's only misfortune to everyone. So many people will be killed. And now he's saying what? How can any good come from killing? And they are my own kinsmen, my own relatives. How can any good come from killing my own relatives, right? And even if we win, I don't see any happiness there. I don't see what is the use of this whole war. And one more verse and then we'll stop. I want to end with this verse. So 32 through 35. So we'll do the Sanskrit, it's very nice. Kim no rajena govinda.
Kim no rajena govinda.
Kim bhoger jivitena va.
Kim bhoge jivitena va.
Yesham arthe kankshitam no.
Yesham arte kamshitam no.
Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha.
Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha.
Ta ime vastitha yudhe.
Ta ime vastita yudhe.
Pranam stvakta dhanani cha.
Pranam stapta dhanani cha.
Acharya pitara putras. Tathaiva cha pitamaha. Matula swasura pautra.
Matula swasura pautra.
Shrala sambhadinastatha.
Swarna sambandhinastasa.
Etana hantum ichhami.
Ekana tumishami.
Gnatnopi madhusudana.
Gnatnopi madhusudana.
Api trailokya rajasya.
Apitrailokya rajasya.
Heto kimnu mahi krite.
Heto gimnu mahikrite.
Nihatsya dhatarashranna.
Nihatya dhatarashranna.
Ka priti swajanardhana.
Apriti swajanardhana.
So these are Arjun's questions. And I want you, when we read the translation, I want you to think about these questions and see when we talked of like pausing, reflecting, asking questions, can we relate to these questions? Can we ask similar questions in our situation? Okay, so let's read the translation.
Gita, of what avails to us for a kingdom, happiness or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrived on this battlefield. O Mansudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-laws, grandsons, brother-in-laws, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three walls, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra?
Okay, so each question will go through and we'll see how it is like very instructive questions, right? The first question he says, what avail to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we desire them are now arrayed on the battlefield? What does this mean? So Arjuna are actually thinking, well, even if we win this battlefield, if we win, actually when, and that's a nice instructive point, that we get anything material, the happiness is not so much from that material thing. We normally think that, oh, if I get this, then I'll be happy, right? The happiness is not so much from the thing. The happiness is more of like when you have something and you show it to a relative and say, oh, see, it works so nicely. See, it has this function, right? You get a new car. Let's go for a car ride. Call your friend. Let's go, right? You want to share. And the relationship, that happiness we experience is in the relationship, not the object. And what is Arjun saying? Even if we win this entire kingdom, the people with whom I want to share with Bhishma Pitama. I want to show him this is it. I want to, have him on our, as our kingdom, be there, like, as our head. And that person itself has to be killed for us to win the battle. So then what is the use of all this? Even if we win, the people with whom we want to share this, they no longer will be alive. Then is this really worth it, right? So what is more important, object or relationship? What do we normally, the world right now, what is it? We like things and we use people to get those things, right? But actually what it should be, we like people, right? And we use objects. But the whole equation is opposite now. Right? We like things, we use people. But we should actually like people and use things for the utility. You get an object, what is function? Use it for that, right? We develop our relationships are more important than the objects. Right? So Arjuna is expressing this sentiment. Okay. First point is okay. Yeah. Right. So even practically, if you're in a situation, you can think about, right? Yeah, normally we think about what will I gain, whether that's financially or opulence. Like we think more of material things. But higher than that is to think of, if this situation, if I act in this way, how will it affect my relatives? How will it affect my relationships? One level higher. Right? So that's the first point.
So slowly, but and even going back to the previous one also, see, this is a very grave situation.
Yeah.
Like in normal day-to-day life, none of us kind of be in a grave situations like this. So typically, when you or me, this obviously you kind of pause, you consider, do all the things. But on a normal, like a work life or whatever the case may be, you never pause, right? You kind of
Keep going,
next,
keep going.
because that kind of the gravity or the depth of the problem does not exist all the time. So
your point is like we should pause only for the bigger problems and
because that's a natural, right? I think you
Yeah.
kind of answered before where you kind of strengthen the intelligence.
Yeah.
This will probably naturally happen.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to connect. Is that how it is, or
So problem bigger or smaller, right? Why are problems actually coming? We'll read further. It's all because of our own karma.
right?
And when we see Bhagavad Gita, karma is like, okay, I did this bad and hence it's coming back to me. All those things are there. But beyond all that, karma we see as a teacher. So whether it's like a small problem or a big problem, it is some lesson is there in that problem. Irrespective, it could be like a small thing, something happened, you're feeling anxiety, right? It could be like something very simple. You're driving in the car and then something happened and all of a sudden you feel angry. Right? It could be like a small thing, and you're feeling angry, like, oh, why is this happening? I mean, at that time, you may just ignore it and just like, oh, okay, and just turn on the music or just like call someone, just like, just forget it. Don't even focus on it. But even in that situation, is it worth thinking why I got triggered and why am I feeling angry now? And we just ignore it. We say like, okay, let me continue. Where am I going next? What is my thing? The point is everything that's happening, every situation, every circumstance we are going through our life, there is something to learn in that. And karma is like a teacher. And if you don't learn it, then she'll give you the same thing again. Like, okay, same exam. Third grade, you didn't clear. Okay, again, third grade exam. Again, third grade exam. Right? So I'm sure everyone has experience. Sometimes you see the same thing happening again and again and again in your life. Anyone has that experience?
Yes, especially when you have kids.
But the point is like, why is the same thing happening again? What is the lesson I can learn from this? Right? Whether small or big problem, these questions can be asked. And the point that I just made right now is when you're asking this question, over material things, can we give priority to relationships over material things? And that's just the first point. And we have not gone to the highest level of the Bhagavad Gita, but just on a morality level, more important than things will go, it will come. More important than that is actually relationships. And often happens, right? Like, I just heard this joke in one of the classes. Oh, yeah. So a newly wed couple, they're just on one side of the street. And they see another side, another young couple with a nice car, right? And they're just on the other side. So this young couple is seen, right? And the wife sees that the husband, he actually goes on the other side and opens the door for the wife to sit in, right? And then the wife, on this side, the wife says to the husband, see how much he cares for her. He said, no. See, new car. So he's a very like new car, she'll bang the door. So again, relationship things. Okay, I know we are now we should stop. Okay, let's finish these two questions and then stop. Then he says, oh Madhusna, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, and all these personalities are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them even though they might otherwise kill me? Now, this is a very, I love this point. Arjun's second question is, everyone here has come with an intention of fighting. They want to win, they want to get an opulence, whatever. If everyone is doing something, does that make that thing right? Think about this. The whole world, one way, is kind of dictating our life, our priorities. And we say, whole world is doing it, hence I should do it. But does that make it right? Especially today in our materialistic society. What does the whole world tell us? I mean, even while growing up, what is it? First, you have to get your degree. Then you have to get naukri. Then you have to get chokri. If you get this, your life is successful. Right? Or even now, in this, we say like, okay, I need good opulence, good house, good this. And then, perfect. Life is perfect. I mean, that's the picture that the world actually gives us. Everyone follows that. And we think we have to follow the same rat race. We call it rat race, right? We have to follow the same rat race. And only when we do that, then we'll be happy. So what is Arjun doing here? By questioning all this, he's redefining success. We consider success as what the society tells us. But we see even those people which we may think that they are successful, they have all the opulence. Are they really happy? Do they have problems? Relationship problems, this issue, that issue? Yes. So what is real success? Think about that. And this is later on what Krishna is going to reveal. You don't have to follow the rest of the world. If the rest of the world is doing that, that doesn't make it right, especially in this age. So much materialism. Every time a new model comes, I have to get it. Because my neighbor got it, I have to get it. You know? So one of our teachers makes this point. Everyone is in a rat race. You know? And even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. You're still a rat, you know? But that's not who we are. Right? So think about this. Redefine success. What does success really mean to us? So I'm not saying that you don't get all these things. You may get as a matter of convenience. You know, I need a good house or car, etc. for convenience. For utility's sake, okay, I'm getting it. But that is not success. What is real success in life? Think about that. Right? That's the second question. And the third question, he says, "O maintainer of all living things, I'm not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth." So we have that, be honest, we all have that inclination. Okay, I need more material opulence, bank balance, cars, everything opulence. But what is Arjun saying? Arjun saying, even if I get all three kingdoms, still I will not be happy. What does this tell us? Anything material, even if you have like a whole list of material things, and it is fulfilled. You get a Visa card, buy anything on Amazon, unlimited. Will that make you happy?
For some time.
For some time, but actually, if you really get that, it is actually more anxiety than happiness. You get the things, what do I do with all these things, right? It actually said, this is a Christian author, he actually said, there are more tears cried from desires that we fulfill than tears where the desires were unanswered. Think about that. So we have so many material aspirations, but all those material things, even if you have everything, that is still something more. That is finally our spiritual connection. And that's where Krishna will take us. But these three questions. First is material, object, and relationship, which is important. Second is, what is real success? And third is, we are all in this, getting all these material things. But even if we get everything, there's still something that's lacking. And what is that? What is that? Like, I'll end with this. Sorry. Everyone knows the story of Vamana Dev. Yes. As a Dashavatar, there's Vamana Dev. right? Bali Maharaj. So, and if you don't know, so I'll tell the key point. So Vamandev as Dwarf Brahman, he goes to Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj at the time, emperor of the entire, he had conquered even the Swarga Loka. And that's why Vamandev actually appeared. Because even Indra was actually out of his Swarga Loka. Even he was out of his place. Right? Bali Maharaj had conquered even Swarga Loka. Right? So what is Vamandev as a Dwarf Brahman? He came. And then Bali Maharaj, greeted him as a Brahman. I said, okay, what can I give you? And what did Vamandev ask for? 3 footsteps. And Bali Maharaj said, you're not very intelligent. He's saying, Vamandev, you're not very intelligent. Why? Because I can give you an entire island. I can give you a whole country. And you're asking only for 3 steps? Ask me in such a way that once you ask, you'll never have to ask again. And what was Vamandev's answer? Vamandev made this point. He said, for a person whose senses are not controlled, even if he gets the entire universe, he will not be satisfied. For me, just 3 steps, I'll be satisfied with it. So, and that's a nice point to think about. So similar, you can get all the 3 things. And that's further where Krishna actually reveals. We can have everything, but unless we have that inner spiritual connection, that inner spiritual happiness, our bhakti to Krishna, unless we have that, there's still a vacuum in our heart. Still a vacuum in our heart. So, this is going to come later on. I'm already going ahead in the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. But we are all spiritual beings. Nothing material can actually satisfy us. Yes, we confuse convenience with happiness, but they are 2 different things. You can have convenience, but that real happiness, that comes only when we have that connection, that bhakti to Krishna. And that will come on later on in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we'll stop here. So we started from text 20. We went through further Arjun's journey, how he's having this emotional breakdown, and we talked about his questions. And can we relate to these questions when we are having a difficult situation in life? What is my priority in life? What is really important to me? Do I have to follow all the general people to actually be happy? Think about these things. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue for the next time. So anyone has any final comments, questions, realizations?
One thing to when it explains how Arjuna was scared to say, his lips were dry and Gandhi was sleeping. That I was thinking can happen when I'm super scared also.
Yeah. True.
That's exactly what I was saying. And then in the Prabhupada also mentions that about the fear part.
Prabhupada says Arjuna is fearful of.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm thinking for myself.
Yeah.
Handshaking.
Sure. Fear. Yes.
Yeah. And then lips drying, throat drying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Arjuna was that, but this symptom tells me that, okay, if I am having those symptoms, that means I can also be scared. That's
scared. Yeah. I mean, the fear is there. Everyone has fear, right? They say in this material world, eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing. This is like every living entity, right? Eating, you want something to eat, you want something to sleep, and then mate, opposite relationship, and then finally fear. And of these 4, fear is something that is always there. 24/7, there is fear at the back of our mind. Fear of losing our close ones, fear of losing our property, fear of something happening to me. You see an accident and oh, thank God it didn't happen to me. Fear is always there, right? And some situations could be more fearful and you can have emotional breakdowns. Sure.
I also want to say this, when you explain things, it's probing me inside, and that I can relate to this, like the 3 questions that explained was very nice. I was thinking about it, and that is within me. I think, okay, that's really great. We should do that. We know we don't do it. How do I start to implement doing this? Then feel the bliss. That's the key thing for me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. 29 is where the Prabhupada says,
yeah,
a couple of lines where it says there are 2 kinds of trembling of the body.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Good.
And 2 kinds of standings of the hair on earth.
Yes.
Such phenomena occurs either in great spiritual ecstasy
Or in
out
fear.
of great fear
Fear.
and material
Okay.
conditions.
So
And-
Prabhupada is making up Arjun had fear.
Yeah,
Okay.
there is no fear in the transcendental realization, but Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material, namely loss of life.
A loss of life. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that mood of compassion.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Okay. Yeah, good point. Thank you. Thank
In continuation of the same thing, I thought of asking the same question sometime back. So Lord Krishna was sitting next to him. Still, I am fear. I'm scared.
How is it possible?
I'm still realize that there is a God, but fear is in my mind. That means like maybe I don't have full faith on him. When God is next to me, I shouldn't be scared.
That's a very nice point. Actually, at this point, Arjun is not seeing Krishna as the supreme God. What is Arjun seeing Krishna as? My cousin, my friend, right? And later on, we'll see where is actually, when he actually accepts Krishna is supreme God, he is my best friend, right? Bhoktaram Yagatavam Sarvalokam Mahesham Suridam Sarvabhutanam. He is the most powerful and he's my most dear friend. If you have these two combinations, no question of fear. Right? Normally we have friendship. I mean, someone may be a good friend, but he's not all powerful because he has some disease, he could come help you out, but you have to fight your disease. But Krishna is all powerful, and he's our best friend. So later on, Arjun, we are realizing we are coming into Arjun's journey. And when Arjun realizes, then certainly no fear anymore. Right? But initially he's just saying, Krishna is my friend. He's so also one point you'll see that one way Arjun is actually a pure devotee of Krishna. But Arjun is put into this position of forgetfulness so that this conversation of Bhagavad Gita takes place. Just for our benefit. So that dynamics is also there. Right? Okay. Any other points? I'll stop here.
Which I like the point you said that take karma as a teacher. If something is happening in again, so I should reflect and see what Krishna is trying to teach me.
Very nice. Yeah, see karma as a teacher. There's a joke, they say like, there's a new restaurant in town. It's called Karma. The only thing is there's no menu. You go and you'll get what you deserve. Anyone else?
So regarding karma again, so there are two people in the same situation. Like because of the situation, two people are facing it. So normally what like person A will think that the karma is trying to teach that B person somewhere. It's like that situation is again and again occurring, but both the parties are looking that the karma is for the other person. So how do you realize that, okay, this is something for me to,
I mean, it comes back to the same point that at every moment are we trying to grow in our spiritual life. We just don't want to go through life. We want to grow through every situation of our life. And if we have that mood, and that comes from spiritual cultivation, and we're like, okay, I have a goal in my life. I have a purpose. And everything I do, whether that's my work, my situation, anything, relationship, everything, can I actually use it as an impetus to grow in my journey? If that concept is actually, and it's a journey, if that is really imbibed, then you'll see. You won't put it on the other person. See, now a lesson for him, but it's coming to me again and again, right? But then you realize, okay, if it's happening to me, I am an instrument. Why is this happening to me? What is there to learn? How can I grow from the situation? Not just grow through the situation. Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
I just enjoyed listening to you well, all the side stories. Thank you.
Thank you. Mati, surely. Okay. Normally at the end, like I like any point that you heard, you can just repeat it. Because often we hear so much and then we forget what you have heard. So it's good to just repeat, reflect on the point, repeat. So if anything you heard that you feel like, okay, this is one point that I want to really implement in my life. I want to take my life to the next level, just focusing on this one point. Then if you like, you can also repeat the same point. Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here. Thank you all so much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you all so much. Very grateful to each one of you. You came here on Saturday evening and you decided to spend the evening with us. So we are very happy to have each one of you here. And I hope you got something from this session that you can actually, make it a part of your life and that will grow through your life. Okay. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Maybe can you call the children, tell them our class is over so they can come. And also, before everyone stands up, just one announcement. So next week, actually, we are having a special guest coming in town. His name is His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu. He is based in Atlanta. He and his wife both are doctors. They are amazing speakers. Like, he has so much knowledge. He's like similar age to me. So much depth of knowledge, and the way he explains philosophy, just like, your heart will melt, really. Like, so wonderful. So next week, we are actually doing 2 sessions, Friday and Saturday. So both evenings we'll have sessions, right? Try to come for both, right? If something else is there, conflict, at least try to make it for one. So Friday evening will be right here, same place. We'll start at 6 o'clock. So Friday evening, same place here at 6 p.m. And then Saturday, it is an Apex. Okay, so both are here. So we'll post out the details on our group also. Everyone here is on the group? That Bhakti Sangha, yeah? Everyone? Okay, if you're not on the group, let us know. We'll add it. So we'll post both the addresses. So next week, we'll have 2 sessions, Friday and Saturday. And then after, we'll continue with our Saturday 6 p.m. sessions. Okay. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.